go bullish, right, on our 4-hour time frame. And I saw something very interesting on our 15 minutes time frame, right? So we can see a shoulder and a sweep and a break. So when price gets to this shoulder, we should be expecting some sort of a reaction from that level. If that price holds from this region and keeps and slumps to the downside or disregards it and keep buying to the upside, respecting the overall trend to the buy side. So on DXY, I have a bullish bias on DXY for today, right? I expect that when I see my proper reconstruction to the upside, I will be willing to slam the dollar to the upside, to buy the dollar, right? And of course, a reaction when price gets to the shoulder on our 15 minutes time frame. And down to Euro USD. On our monthly time frame, we can see that price is bearish, forming lower lows and lower highs to the downside. On our weekly time frame, right, price is also bearish, right? And price took out this low, expanded to the downside, taking out this low and retraced back to continue its sell to the downside from this region that it's retraced into. And on our daily time frame, price is also bearish, right? Although price retraced and bought back into this fair value gap here, on our daily time frame, we're expecting that price should slam to the downside from that region on our daily time frame. And on our 4-hour time frame, right, we can also see that price is bearish and price retraced and bought into this fair value gap. And we saw some sort of a reaction, and you can see that price is presently at this zone. So I think this is a good place for us to want to slam it down. Look out for your break of structure and your entry signatures before taking the sell to the downside. Don't just sell impulsively. Make sure it ticks all your checklist and your boxes before taking the sell to the downside. And I also saw something very interesting on 15 minutes for the Euro USD, right? This is a shoulder, and this is a sweep, and a break to the downside. So I expect that price should sell all the way into the shoulder, and if it's going to hold, then price should do what it needs to do from that region. Or if it disregards and keeps selling, then we all know that it is in respect to the overall trend, the overall sell trend on Euro USD. So I am bearish on Euro USD and bullish on the XY, right? I am willing to sell Euro against dollar and buy the dollar, right? So down to GBP USD. Just going to take this off. All right. On our monthly time frame, you can see that price is clearly bearish on our weekly time frame, right? On our monthly time frame, right? I beg your pardon. Then on our weekly time frame, price is clearly bearish, taking out this low, expanding to the downside, retracing into this fair value gap, and subsequently into this order block on the weekly time frame. And for our daily time frame, right, price is bearish. And I saw something interesting, a fair value gap here and another fair value gap here, what we call the IOFED. So price should get magnetized to this region, right? If I'm willing to sell GU, price should come to this region and subsequently take out this low, since we are in an overall downtrend. My first point of taking my profit will be when price comes to this IOFED. And then my second point is when I see price taking out this low on our daily time frame. And down to our 4-hour time frame, right? We can also see that price is bearish. price actually retraced into this fair value gap here, and there's some sort of a reaction from that side to the downside, right? And I am actually very bearish on GU on 4-hour time frame. I am also bearish on 4-hour time frame on GU. And if you come down to 15 minutes, I saw the same thing I saw on Euro USD on GU. Shoulder, sweep, then break to the upside. So I'm expecting that price should sell off into this region, and there should be some sort of a reaction when price gets to this region here on the 15 minutes, right? So I'm expecting a sell-off of GU on all time frames. GU should sell off, right? So I am bearish on GU. When I see my entry signature, I will be taking the GU sell, right? That will be all for my session. After this brief break, we'll be having Lakon coming before us to analyze the gold and yen baskets. Thank you all for having me. Have a beautiful weekend.
All right, good morning. It's a beautiful morning to you. Welcome back to the Market Caller, brought to you by the Value Flow Trading Team and powered by our preferred broker, Okta. This morning, we'll be going into analysis of the precious metal, and then we'll move to the yen basket. All right. Now, this week, we've been anticipating a long on the precious metal. However, if you look at it, let's take the analysis from the weekly time frame to see exactly what is going on the precious metal, where is our point of entry, and at the same time, if you want to exit, where are we trying to take TP from? All right, so we move now to the weekly time frame of the precious metal, which is gold, particularly is the one we use majorly on the floor here. We trade majorly on the floor among all the other precious metals. All right, so looking at the precious metal from the weekly time frame, you can see clearly that we've been in a very strong bullish trend. And like Cynthia analyzed the dollar index too, if you look at the precious metal, this bullish trend, the dollar too is, somehow having the same thing. And for the past few months now, we've been seeing the dollar and the precious metal doing the same thing. That does not really give a very good correlation, like correct one. However, if this is happening, then we should expect when the precious metal will start selling, it's going to be a massive one all the way to the downside. Now, if you look at it on this weekly time frame, we just see some level of pullback after it creates its all-time high around the 24.31 spot 55 level, and it's great. After creating that, we saw the level of pullback for some few days. If you look at it on the daily time frame, it's just for some few days, and we could see that this particular low here we call it a level, which is a low, was broken to the downside, and we see our price ranges in between that level. And just yesterday into today, we see it rallying all the way back to the upside. However, if we are looking at our bus strategy on the daily time frame, our initial plan, like what we've analyzed a few days ago, was that if the precious metal come all the way back to this particular region here, we may want to take some level of sell, and that is where we are seeing it right now, some level of sell at this particular spot. Let me draw it out for you. And you remember that after we said that few days ago, that when it's rally all the way back to this zone, we may see some level of sell because of this is looking more like a flip zone here and this shoulder here. Now we also have a fair value gap inside, and that is where the precious metal came all the way to rallying into that place and wants to come down. Now the question now is, will it come down or will it go up to clear liquidity at the upside? And we are going to see that as we go, lower into the other time frames. Now, if you look at from the 4-hour time frame, we are going to see clearly now. It becomes much more clearer now on the 4-hour time frame that this is the clean shoulder here, as you can see. This is the shoulder here, as you can see, and we have some flip zone here too, and the forceful break. Now, if you are looking at it in respect to this particular move here, this swing here, you are going to call this a shoulder and this a forceful break. However, if it's in respect to this one here, this is also a shoulder and the sharp move to the upside before all this happen to the downside. Now, that is why we are seeing the precious metal rally into this zone. And we can see that there are a lot of fair value gaps inside this place here. So it's coming, to fill some of this void, call it liquidity void, into it, fill it up, then begin to come down as we projected. So that is what we are looking out for on the precious metal. But we are still going to go to the lower time frame to see if we are going to get some level of entry for the sell for us to follow it through. Now, on the 1-hour time frame, if you look at the 1-hour time frame, you are going to see clearly that it has not really printed any entry for the sell yet. However, if you look at this place, price came to clear liquidity around this place. You can see that's what has happened now. But we want to see, if we zoom out, you are going to see this particular zone here. There are still some fair value gaps resting there. So could it be that is where the precious metal is trying to target into? But if we see a clear structure shift around this side, like on 5 minutes or 15 minutes to the downside, then we can easily follow it all the way to the downside. So let's check 15 minutes to see what is going on 15 minutes. Now, 15 minutes is been a very strong bullish move all the way to the upside, a very strong bullish move to the upside. And you don't want to, start selling when the market is still very bullish to the upside. So just wait and see if there is any structure on the lower time frame. And if you look at 5 minutes, there's no any structure yet, even on the 5-minute time frame. So for those who are new to the top-down analysis, what we are using here is the box strategy. So if we see it play out now, this is what we are expecting to happen on this particular chart, that we have a high, a low, and the sweep to the upside. After the sweep, we want to see the forceful break of this last part. Then price comes back again into this zone, having either a fair value gap or this correlated shoulder. Then we follow it all the way to the downside. Meaning when price does this, forms this low. Now, someone may take this as a low, yes, but we want to see the forceful break to the downside, meaning a forceful break of this particular level to the downside, and price coming back again to this shoulder. Then if there is any fair value gap in between here, there should be, then we should see price tap into it before it starts going all the way to the downside. So this is the schematic we are waiting for to see on the precious metal. If it plays out that way, then we can go ahead to short the precious metal. Now, for the yen basket, let's quickly take a look. What's going on the yen basket? As we've always anticipated, and we've been saying that we've been expecting the yen basket to rally all the way to the upside, like we gave our analysis on Monday and also some days of the week. Now, today being Friday, we are going to see, okay, there may not be much volatility in the market towards the end of the day. For this London session, we are expecting some level of volatility before the end of the day, knowing fully well that the market is closing this evening, later at night rather. So on the daily time frame, what are we seeing on the Japanese yen basket? You can see clearly that on this time frame is when price rally into this. You see, this is a very strong support down to the back to the upside. When price gets there, start moving all the way back down again. However, if we, like you see on Monday, we are saying that we still expect price to come to this last order block here, and you can see after this candle, we saw a very strong momentum push to the upside. So we are expecting price to, pull back all the way into that level because there's more orders at that region where price can still react to. So when price taps into this place, we expect it to start, pushing all the way to the upside. Now, if it rally all the way to the upside, where is it coming to? We are going to see that there's a lot of liquidity built around this place. So we expect price to come, clear liquidity at this top, and at the same time, we can see that this is a shoulder here at this particular point here. Good. Now, this is it. This is a shoulder. We can see the sweep and the forceful break to the downside. So if it rally, when this rally starts, we expect it to clear liquidity here, tap into this shoulder. Then there should be some sort of price reaction at this particular point, either to the downside, some level. Then if the yen basket wants to continue its rally, you may now see it break out of this particular zone all the way to the top. And if you can see again what really happened here, you can see the boss pattern happened here too. This is a shoulder, this is a sweep, and the forceful break to the downside. And when price came all the way into this shoulder here, you can see it, how price was rejected from that level all the way to the downside again. So we are expecting the same thing here for it to come, clear liquidity, and tap into this particular zone. You may want to screenshot this and see how price plays out well. If price pull back from this particular order block here, then we expect it to come all the way clear liquidity here. So if this is happening on the yen basket, then we should see the correlated move on the yen pairs. So such as the GJ, GBP-JPY. Now let's look at GBP-JPY. If you see GBP-JPY on the higher time frame, you can see how the guy has been bullish for some few days now, all the way to the upside. And the reason why we still see the bullishness is because of what we see on the yen basket. So if the yen basket, if price is being pushed back on that daily order block that we can see on the yen basket, then we expect that if price gets to somewhere around this place, we can see there's a fair value gap inside here, which I am of the opinion that GJ would want to come and tap into. As you can see it, this is that fair value gap on the daily time frame. So we just see a very sharp push of GJ into this level, then it will start coming to clear all this diagonal liquidity at the downside. So that's what I'm expecting for the Japanese GBP-JPY rather. So these are liquidity to the downside here. You can see it very clean to the downside. So if price could tap into this place, then we expect it to come all the way, clear liquidity here, and we see that moving. Particularly if it could break this level to the downside, we are going to see that happen. So let's check on the 4-hour time frame what's going on the Japanese yen on the 4-hour time frame. You can see for the Japanese yen here, you can still see that the trend line is still being respected. As price comes back, tapped into it, bouncing all the way to the upside again. So let's see when price tap. This is the fair value gap that we mark on the daily time frame. You see it on the 4-hour time frame now, what is showing us on the 4-hour time frame. And you can see this liquidity around this side. So price may just come, tap into it, clear this liquidity, tap into this fair value gap, then begin to sell all the way to the downside. Now, does that mean this particular, trend line, if it's broken to the downside, then we know what that means, right? It's going to clear it all the way to the downside again. Now, let's look at 15-minute time frame. What are the entries? Are we seeing any entry for maybe short of GJ? No, there's no any short for GJ right now. However, knowing fully well that it still has more room to push to the upside. Now, let's look at it. Can we see any room for the long if it's going to move all the way to that upside? Let's just check on 5 minutes. Is there any move there? No, really, not really, not really, not really. So better still, just stay on your 15-minute time frame and look, you are going to see any move that way to the upside. Now, the only thing I'm seeing here somewhere around this place is maybe price may want to react if it comes back to this particular zone here. This is more of a shoulder, this particular zone, this level here. So price may react there, and we can see as price cleared this low, there's a lot of liquidity here. Price can clears it and has its sharp move to the upside, creating fair value gap. So if we see the yen basket, tank forcefully to this particular level, we may see some level of rejection. If it doesn't get to that, our POI that we marked, and it tanked all the way to this level, then we may see some level of rejection from this place to the upside, and for it to go and tap into the fair value gap that we marked right from the daily time frame, and which has a correlation on the 4-hour time frame too. So that is majorly the analysis we have for today on the yen basket. So let's quickly take a look at some news that we are expecting. If there's any news today that may want to, disrupt our trade for the day. Today being Friday, there's not too much in the market. We only have to consumer sentiment for the USD, and that is the major news we are looking out for. Then card employment rate, that's just the 1:30 and 3 o'clock p.m. Those are the few news that we have for today. Now, if we look at the currency strength for today, what are really the best performing currency for the day. If you look at it, you're going to see right now we have JPY totally behind at the back there, and we have USD. I need to reload this because what I'm seeing, okay, now this is it. Good. This is it. So we have NZD, JPY, and AUD now is looking more like there is kind of risk off in the market right now, because we are seeing AUD, NZD towards the back end, but the only thing here too that is giving some level of concern is the Japanese yen that is also at the back here, but we have the USD somewhere in the front here too. So it's telling us a story that the market, there is still need for some level of alignment in the market. And if we look at it on the weekly time frame, this is looking more like it's not really that much clear too. On the weekly time frame, we have some of the risk on assets in the front here, while the risk off the safe haven at the back here too. So it's looking more like the theme of the week, this week that we're about to end now, looks more of a risk on week. All right. But as we've said, the analysis generally on the chart is that we are expecting the Japanese yen to come all the way to that daily order block, then react back from it. So if that is going to happen, then we expect this guy to tap here, then we are going to see the correlated reaction too on it. So if there's any question, let's quickly take it before we call it a day. Oh, thank you very much, sir. Thank you very much, sir. Yes, exactly. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you very much. Okay. Yeah, someone said a lot of money to be made on growth for today. Yeah, but make sure you use your proper risk management strategy. To respect yourself, just make sure you respect your account, sir. All right. Good morning, sir.
Morning, Lekon. Can we look at the headlines? Fantastic analysis, by the way. I hope it's getting clearer for people that you are seeing the tools that we use every day, the box strategy. You also can look at box failure. You also can look at when the box strategy fails, which is also a pointer. So I think that's something that I would want to also talk about when box strategy fails. But first, understand box strategy as a reversal entry setup. So let's look at the well done, sir. What is your view of taking entries on 1 minute time frame using the box strategy? Now, when you understand the concept of box strategy, just understand the concept. What it is telling you is that there is institutional intent. What that big grammar simply means is there's a big boy somewhere that is manipulating price. Why? You see your left shoulder. Your left shoulder, let's say it's a normal box pattern that price has been going up and we are expecting it to reverse and start selling. So you see your left shoulder. That's the high. Then somebody comes and makes a higher high, which is the sweep. And then that same person that made the higher high now comes and breaks and forms a lower low. If you form a higher high, are you not supposed to keep forming higher highs, higher lows, higher highs, higher lows? So for that person now that did the sweep, he has pushed price to the upside. He's supposed to continue like a breakout buy, but he now pushes it all the way to the downside. That lets you know that that's institutional intent. The person that has the kind of money that can form, that can trap the buyers, deceive the buyers, and then deceive the sellers too. That's the logic. So it's not that there's any magic in box pattern. A shoulder is formed, they frustrate the buyers, then they frustrate the sellers, then they go back to the normal flow of the market, back to that shoulder, and then bring price down. So you can use the box strategy on any time frame. It's just that if it is on a higher time frame, then you know, because it's the big boys that watch the higher time frame. Big boys don't watch 1 minute. If it happens on a higher time frame, then that is a further layer that, oh, big boys are the one behind this. But if you see a box pattern on the 1 minute time frame, and you're just using it like that, I won't advise that. But if you are using it as an entry signature, that's totally fine. 1 minute, 3 minutes, 5 minutes, in order to reduce stop loss to the minimum, that's totally fine. But please, as much as it's possible, let it be at the high of the day if you are selling, or the low of the day if you are buying. Don't let it be in the middle somewhere, because you can take 3 or 4 stop losses. What's the point? I don't know if that makes sense. Did I answer you, Mr. Femi? All right, so let's look at the headlines that have come out today. Thank you, Lekon. That was very comprehensive. You took us through the structure, you took us through the sentiment, you took us through currency strength. So gold looks to snap back-to-back weekly declines. Okay, let's scroll up. European equities look to make it a perfect run this week. So, you know, thank you, Lekon. You already showed us that this week is risk on the weekly time frame, because AUD and NZD, they were buying, and this is confirming it that they are looking to move higher, that risk is on. Great. So for those of you who trade NASDAQ and stuff, yesterday we thought it was risk off. We thought there would be a box pattern, but there was a box pattern failure. Okay, Lekon, let's even look at that. Let's see NASDAQ, because Demola really did some analysis on NAS 100. So let's see if we can identify the box pattern failure, because there was box failure yesterday on NAS 100. Okay, fantastic. Let's see it from yesterday. Are we seeing yesterday? I don't see the whole of yesterday, only yesterday. So maybe that's the 1 hour you will show me. Okay, it didn't fail. It is still there. It's tapping into it. It's tapping into it. Let's see the markup that we did. Oh, okay, it didn't fail. It has gotten to it. It has gotten to it. Okay, so fantastic. So now they're saying stocks are looking to rally, right? Stocks are looking to rally. But we have seen it get to the box pattern. It has even done equal lows. No, this thing is coming down. This is coming. Look at the equal lows. Zoom in a bit. You can see the equal. This is a perfect box pattern. Equal lows. It just tapped into that low. Sorry, equal highs. Double top. That's a high there. That's another high there. See, when you see box pattern and you now see them create liquidity with double equal highs, price is going to come down a bit, tap into 181811, and it's going to collapse. So we're looking at that into the afternoon session. That's later this afternoon and into Monday. Let's see. Excuse me. Let's see Australian dollar. Australian index, ASX 200, ASX 200, ASX 200, to see what happened during Australia. ASX 200. Oh, you see the AUS 200, that's it there. That's it there. AUS 200. Exactly. Some places call it ASX, others call it AUS. Aha, okay. All right, so see what happened. Let's zoom in. That's the box there. No, zoom in. Make the candles bigger. Exactly. So this was yesterday. Where has price got into? That's our shoulder. Sweep was done 12:30 p.m. yesterday. No. That's the shoulder there. Sweep. Price has come into that fair value gap. It has formed an IOFED. There's an IOFED. How do we know? Fair value gap to the upside, fair value gap to the downside. Where's our sweep? That's our sweep there. That reclaimed order block, the one that failed. Yes, it was broken and price should have continued going up, but it came and broke below it. So that's our shoulder. That's our sweep. That's our shoulder there, yes. That's our sweep. That's our break of structure down, back to the downside. That's an IOFED with the low, the flip zone. The flip zone. And price has tapped into that flip zone. So we're expecting price to move to the downside. So you can see it's already happening. It's already happening. So even though the fundamentals are saying that equities want to rally, we are seeing that price has entered into a clear sell signature, very clear sell signature. If we even want to use the 15th, May 15th as our shoulder, May 15th. No, you are scrolling, no need to scroll. That's high, that inducement, that variation. 15th of April, sorry, April 15th. Sorry about that. April 15th. There, exactly. Keep going. Yeah, that's it there. So that's if we say that's our shoulder now, that high. Exactly. Let's say that's the shoulder. Then that is a sweep. That is a sweep of that shoulder, a grab of that liquidity, and a break to the downside. A break to the downside. So where is our diagonal liquidity? That's our diagonal liquidity there. Right where you are, Leko, that's the diagonal liquidity. Not even there. The one that was formed yesterday. All those strong green candles. If you zoom in, you see that is a trend line. The green candles before the red candle forming right now. If you zoom in, you see that that's a trend line of diagonal liquidity. Exactly. Of diagonal liquidity. Exactly. If you zoom in, you can draw a trend line.
Sorry.
No problem. So I'm expecting some sort of profit taking on equities where the buyers take their profit, and that should give some selling pressure. Selling pressure. Zoom in further. Exactly. All those rejection pin bars to the upside. If that level gets broken, tilt the trend line some more. It's very sharp. When you see sharp trend line like that, they are creating liquidity. Very sharp. So if you see that's diagonal liquidity, before it's two, there's diagonal liquidity. All those long green candles before the IOFED was formed. That's also diagonal liquidity, terminating in a fair value gap. That's the fair value gap right there where you are, which is also a stopper shocker. So you can see exactly. So there's liquidity, which is why I'm saying there should be some sort of pullback, profit taking. So you can draw the diagonal liquidity there too. So these are the concepts you just look at every day and try to frame a narrative of what price wants to do. Not even the above it, Lekon. All those green candles to the upside that there's no sell at all in them. That's liquidity they are creating. They are engineering liquidity. Thank you. Then there's a fair value gap below. Exactly, right there. There's another block there too. That's a fair value evening star. So that's what is making me say that all those places should look very interesting for a pullback. So that's what I'm saying. There will likely be profit taking and price will come down. So using this now, Australian dollar as a correlated asset for NASDAQ. Let's see NASDAQ now. So I don't know if this makes sense. We want to see if what we want to see happen in America has already happened in Australia since they are both equities. All right? Since they are both equities. You can see the same thing here. The same thing. Fair value gaps, order block. That's the order block there. That's a fair value gap. That's another block there. That's a fair value gap. So the last thing is the last diagonal liquidity. Exactly. Order block, fair value gap. Same thing with the one on top, order block, fair value gap. So those are places price should try to reach into. All right. Then the last diagonal liquidity on the 4-hour, the very last one that is forming right now. Exactly. If we see any sort of reconstruction. So let's look at 15 minutes. If we can see a box pattern too. Okay, so on the 15 minutes, where is our shoulder? Where is our sweep? That is a shoulder, equal highs. 4 of them, 1, 2, 3, 4. That is a shoulder, equal highs, 1, 2, 3, 4. Thank you. And then where is the sweep? It hasn't become a full sweep because it has only cleared the liquidity. It hasn't come down to form a break, right? It hasn't come down to form a clear break. So that's our liquidity there, our diagonal liquidity there. That is just forming exactly. That's our diagonal liquidity there. Thank you, all the way. So we are looking to see what price wants to do. If that candle that is going up pushes all the way to the downside, you can even extend that diagonal liquidity. You can see it extends all the way, even if you extend it back, it extends all the way to the back, all the way. You can see that there's so much liquidity built up there. Exactly. So if we see price break below, let it tap into that fair value gap first. It hasn't tapped, it hasn't grabbed that liquidity. But once it grabs it and it comes back down and breaks that shoulder, we now check this around New York and see what is happening around New York, right? The last order block, that's the order block that should hold. That order block should hold if price is really buying. So if that order block gets taken out and price breaks below it, then comes back to retest it, that will be our shoulder. There will be some sort of IOFED around there. If that level doesn't hold and price breaks below it, there will be an IOFUD because we see the fair value gap on the right, and there will be another fair value gap on the left if that candle gets broken exactly, and then it comes all the way down, taps below that liquidity for a protected low. If that's upside down shoulder, upside down sweep, where will it be coming to? It will be coming to that shoulder. Exactly. So if that is left shoulder, sweep, break of structure to the upside, see another left shoulder that was formed as the structure was breaking to the upside with another sweep, which came to the downside, then break of structure to the upside. So that other sweep, sorry, that second left shoulder, exactly, that should be the protected low, and that's where we're looking at for our first take profit. IOFED, institutional order. I don't know what it means, but what it means is fair value. You have two fair value gaps, opposite fair value gaps, side by side. So if you have a strong move upward that forms a green fair value gap, then you have a sweep, then a strong move downwards that forms a red fair value gap. That's an IOFED. That's an IOFED, where you have two opposite color fair value gaps side by side. Exactly like that, exactly. So that's the fair value gap green to the upside, then the fair value gap red to the downside. You see how price, when it got back to that other block, it tapped into it and came back down. So that's an IOFED. All right. So this is the first thing. When price taps, so let price do your markup that price should tap into the red zone first. Then into the red fair value POI, point of interest. Because if price doesn't tap into that zone first, we don't trust it because there's liquidity to be grabbed above it. All right. So these are some of the things we're looking at. IOFED, institutional order flow ahead. That's why I stopped at ED, because I don't know what that E stands for. Jeremiah, thank you. Entry drill. Let me not go and say what I don't know. All right. So, okay. Any other question for us now? Any question for me specifically? It's Friday. If you have made money, please just leave the markets. If not, you can still try and grab something. Please, guys, everyone here, DXY, please. You came late. You came late. Ogaima, you came late. So maybe you watch the replay. Every other person, please try and download our flyers. Please post it on your WhatsApp status. We're spending a lot of money, multiple millions, putting this event together. Please, let's spread the word. Let's spread the word. If NAS 100 may sell, why will Euro USD sell too? I'm trying to understand the relationship. Explain, please ask again. If NAS 100 will sell, why will Euro USD sell too? The only currencies that are sensitive to equities are the risk currencies, and the risk currencies are AUD USD and NZD USD, the Australian dollar and the New Zealand dollar. There is no correlation, as it were, between Euro USD and NAS 100. There's no correlation. There's no correlation. If you see them moving in the same direction, it's incidental. There's no market architecture reason behind it. Australian dollar, New Zealand dollar, Canadian dollar, and of course, by extension, the pound sometimes. These are the currencies that are sensitive to global equities and global risk on, risk off. How can I watch the replay? DM, they will let you know. Please, we're spending multiple millions on this event. Not one, not two, not three, not four, not five on this event. So please, let's spread the word. We're going to be giving out a lot of free courses. We're going to be giving out some trading bots, and we're having one paid session, 100,000 Naira, but there will be a discount for early birds, right? One paid session within our 5 or 6 sessions, okay? So please, please, please spread the word. spread the word. We're also going to be taking note of the people who are spreading the publicity, and we're also going to be rewarding like the first 2 or 3 top evangelists for this event. I'm going to be rewarding them with some of our assets, our intellectual property, either a trading course or a trading bot. All right. So please spread the word. Okay. Please explain risk on and risk off, sir. All right, Gabriel, I'm giving you an assignment. Go to investing.com and Google this term. Go to Google too and Google it and say risk on, risk off equities, risk on, risk off currencies. Come back tomorrow or Monday and tell us what you learned. Then I will tell you the explanation also. All right. I hope this helps, Gabriel. It's not that I don't want to answer you. I also want you to teach us. Then we too will now also tell you how we use it and what we have experienced using it. All right. Once again, over to the guys on the floor. We still have trading bots for sale, and we still have FX Bootcamp and other courses for sale. Please patronize us so we can keep serving you with value. Thanks once again. Over to you guys on the floor. Cheers and God bless. Lekon, are we there? Are the guys on the floor there, or am I alone? So I'll know whether to end the session. So for those of you who may want to WhatsApp for inquiries, I'll just drop the WhatsApp number there of the floor. Please feel free to send your inquiries there, or you DM us, you will get a response, okay? I think the guys on the floor, maybe they're having network issues. It's just me and you guys here. So let me just drop the number of the floor and we can take it from there. All right. Okay. This is the number. Kindly WhatsApp 0816 so 081 60 99 50 30 60 99 50 30 60 99 50 30. All right, guys. Thank you, everyone. Cheers and God bless.
Hello. Thank you very much, sir.
Okay, look on your back. All right, fantastic.
All right. Thank you very much, sir. So everyone, thank you for joining the top-down analysis. We'll be meeting by 3 p.m. again. And as boss already explained, we'll be starting our publicity challenge on Monday, where we'll be rewarding the best, person that has the highest view on his or her status. We'll be sharing the content that you're going to share on your status as early as possible Monday morning. So we are going to share that. And at the end of the week, we are going to collate the highest view for the week across board. So we are going to share it even here on the Zoom call, and at the same time also on every of our Telegram pages and our social media handles. All we want to see is you publicize it, and we have a lot of giveaway that we are going to give you. The winner, the first two, the best two, people will publicize much more, and you are going to share the link to them. So see you by 3 p.m. again for the New York session. Cheers and God bless. Have a nice day.